Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Motorcycle Mechanics Podcast. Episode 7, recorded on February 27th, 2024. All right, thanks for tuning in, folks. This is Jez and Justin. I'm here with Johnny. And I think we both have the same temperature today. As you were saying. What you said, 61 in Kentucky?
Yeah, 63 right now.
Oh boy. Okay, so you beat me. You beat me by 2 degrees.
I think Sunday's supposed to be 70. I don't even know what that's going to be like.
I'm jealous. I think it's supposed to be like 20 on Saturday.
Wow.
I think we're back down to the chilling, freezing temperatures.
Right.
But it was nice. I pulled the Bonneville out today. Dusted out the cobwebs, went for a 50-mile ride.
Oh, my gosh.
Blasted around. It was nice. It felt nice.
I listened to a podcast today on the new Triumph motocross bike that the media was testing, the 250, and they really liked it. And the guy was talking about the niche market for Triumphs for years have been like 40, 45 years old up to 60. And they can't get any younger buyers. And they said now that they've got this, even with the venture bikes, now that they got this, they're hoping they can grab them as teenagers and keep them. And then when they turn 40, they'll go, oh, I need an adventure bike or a Bonneville.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting.
It's definitely the dynamic I've noticed since I've owned my Bonneville. Like there's some hipster dudes that are like my age or a little younger that have the Bonnevilles and stuff. But they're pure show bikes. Like, they've got it. It's like, oh, my cafe racer. Like, yeah, you probably put like 15 miles on that thing a year.
I was going to say they have 7,000 miles on them.
Yeah,
not 170 like yours.
Right. Right. So, but I mean, that's awesome. That's good. That's good marketing ploy, I'd say. I've heard good things about the dirt bike. I don't do dirt bikes, as you know. So
yeah, that's right. I don't either.
Are they racing them yet?
Yeah, they're running the 250 class, and then next year they run the 450 class. They'll have that developed.
That's pretty cool.
I forgot what the big word is, but you have to have the product on the showroom floor for the public to buy before you can race it in an AMA sanctioned race. So that's why they started with the 250 first.
Yep. So, that makes sense. Do you think they'll end up bringing like a dual sport into the fold?
Well, they talk about the Tiger and something else, the adventure bike that they have now. But yeah, I would say as soon as they get that developed, they'll go, let's create something.
Yeah. Something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But the 250 is $9,995. My last dirt bike was in 78, 125 for $1,000.
Right. Well, yeah. But
I know that's
how much is $1,000. I don't think $1,000 was $10,000 now. Like if you were to
used to try and go, okay, how many weeks would I have to work to buy a dirt bike back then? And I'm thinking now, well, how many weeks would I have to work to buy a $10,000 bike? So
I'm curious how much a Yamaha dirt bike is brand new.
Yeah,
because I don't know.
Usually millennials have that's in their head, just click it right out. My son does.
Dude, they're like 10 grand too. No, that's not right. That's the 450. YZF 250. Yeah, $8,000 brand new.
Yeah.
So it's kind of expensive, isn't it? Their Triumph, I would say.
Yeah, I mean the KTM's I think are in the teens already, or they're 12 grand.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine telling my mom and dad at 16 or 17, I need a new bike this year.
Yeah.
And $3,000 worth of safety equipment to be able to ride it right.
Right.
So,
right.
And we need a Sprinter van.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We need a Sprinter. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Is like, it's very, very much a elitist kind of sport. I was kind of thinking about that too, because I get asked all the time, like, oh, didn't you ride when you were kids and your parents take you ride? I'm like, nah, dude, my parents were like poor and like, it was expensive. And now I look at it, it's like, even it's like, what you get, you're doing the cost right there. It's like $14,000 in just a bike and equipment. Then you got to move it, and then you got to do hotels, and then whatever else you have to spend the money on.
I can remember early Sunday morning waking my dad up, and my mom is like, "What is going on? Dad, I need some money for the race." I never thought about doing it Saturday night, before we went to bed. Get in my wallet there. I got some cash. And you can hear mom mumbling, like, "Where did you get cash?" And I can remember getting 15 or $20, and that would be gas for the bike, entry fee, gate fee, and then maybe, $4 to $5, $6 for a hamburger and a soft drink about halfway through the day.
Yeah.
And if you were lucky, you got a, Happy Meal at McDonald's on the way home. It's like just on pennies to get there. So
that's what
good
racing
old days.
really should be all about. You
Yeah.
know?
And you spend all that money and they give you a $9 trophy if you did good. So
Right. Yeah, exactly.
man.
What you could do is get the Tao TBR7, and that's a
Yep.
250cc dirt bike for $1,195. Now that's
Oh man.
is the Triumph 10 times more of the bike than the Tao?
That's right. I heard a guy mention that name the other day, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Is it a Chinese bike you get off Amazon, or what is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm on Amazon.com right now, and it's $1,100 shipped to your door.
Yeah.
Tao.
I bet Liza on Motorcycle Misfits would give you a good review on that. She's probably bought 2 of them by now. So
Oh, you think so?
yeah, she loves the Chinese products, so she can review it and talk about it.
Well, they're so cheap. It's like almost, you buy it, and if you don't like it, and a lot of these ones this one's not, but some of them are fuel injected, John.
Yeah.
So like, and they're like Bosch fuel injection. So it's like, okay, you're probably paying for the fuel injection system. That's what the $1,200 is. The $800. So what's going on? What's new with you?
I have
we
one
working on?
less bike in the stable.
Yep. What'd you get rid of?
I sold the rusty 125 Elsinore last week.
Oh, yep.
And that was kind of bittersweet. It was like I wanted to get it running, do something with it, but then I listed it on a bunch of vintage bike sites on Marketplace on the groups, and got a few calls. There was 2 guys that were emailing me quite a bit and offering less money and everything else. And I kind of told them I could pull 3 items off this bike and make that on eBay tomorrow and junk the rest of it. The guy goes, "Okay, I'll pay your asking price." And
right.
The other guy that wanted it, he said, "Oh, did Patrick buy it?" I go, "Yeah, he's a good guy." And I'm like, nobody's ever told me I want to buy it. Oh, the guy you sold it to is a good guy.
Right.
So it was kind of a funny Justin story, Justin and John story, but he shows up, young guy, and he buys and sells bikes. He said, "This one's going to England." I said, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm thinking, none of my connections overseas told me they were looking for 125 Elsinores. It turned out he had a 250 that he sold him, and the guy said, "I want a 125 so I can have a matching pair." And so I told him about our relationship, meeting at a storage unit, and then I was in your wedding years later. So we talked for a little bit and loaded the bike up, and I said, "Patrick, you married?" He goes, "No, I'm single." I said, "I'll see you in 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
But
Did you threaten to turn into a 3-wheeler on him?
No, I forgot about that. I should have done that. So, but I think I called you. I was getting ready to tear it apart and start putting it on eBay, and it was killing me. It's like having Grandpa's Model T and you're going to part it out,
Right.
And so I took the side cover off and was going to put that on first because they're worth a bunch of money. And I look up and the ground lead on the battery is corroded and broken off. And I never even noticed that. And there was no spark to the plug. So I made the connection and put some new wires on it. And I started getting this faint spark to the plug. And I went, well, that's it. I've got to get this thing running. So
fire.
I ultrasonic cleaned the carburetor and worked on the jets for an hour and struggled with the rock hard boots and heated them up and got it in there and kicked it over. No spark to the plug. I went, that's it. I'm done. So
done.
I advertised it, and 2 days later, the guy came and got it. So
nice. Well, you got what you wanted from it. So
yeah. I mean, I didn't have a lot invested in it, but I knew it was worth something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So I just started going through all the other bikes and, you know, got embarrassed when I realized I haven't done anything since June of 22 on the other two bikes. I just rode them.
Hmm.
And so I did the Kaplan front to back, top to bottom checkup, you know, and changed all my fluids.
Yeah.
And one nightmare after another with brake fluid.
Oh,
But
geez.
the the 650, Craig said that when I topped off one of the reservoirs one time, he said, "Oh, you can't do that. That's got .5 in it." I'm like, "What is .5?" I had no idea. So I had to clean the reservoir out and put .5 in it. He gave me some, this Napa brand. So that was what, 2013, you know, when I got it from him.
Yeah.
And
Geez. 11 years
so
ago.
yeah, so I decided to flush everything out and put new in, you know, because I am a professional
Yeah.
mechanic
Did
and never work on your own bike.
did
So
you
I
use
flushed it out and
yeah,
I went to grab the .5 and it's brown. It's
right.
not
Because
even
it's
clear
11
anymore. It's
years
so
fresh
old.
fluid.
Yeah. So I go on Amazon and I order a bottle of Maxima and it comes in and it says 5.1. And I don't know about this. I've never
What?
messed with 5.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it in and it's clear.
Uh-huh.
And the front just keeps pumping this like rust up or whatever when I'm pumping the reservoir. And I thought I had it all drained out. So I capped it off and went, I'll deal with it later. So the bucket, you know, the gas tank on the 650 is worth more than a whole motorcycle being all original. So
Right.
I hit the gas tank off sitting in the corner of the shop. I take my tub with about, I don't know, 2 cups of brake fluid, 3 cups of brake fluid. I put it in the corner. The next day, I'm talking to Ryan on the phone and I'm trying to clean. I'm a hoarder with my rafters up here with trim, trying to clean out my old remodeling trim and burn it, get rid of it. One of them drops out and I went, oh man, that was close to the tank. I better be careful. 20 minutes later, I look over, I hit the brake fluid bucket. It poured brake fluid all over the gas tank.
Oh
I
no.
freaked out. I thought if it peels the paint, so I got cleaner on it and cleaned it off. It didn't affect the paint. And I'm
Right.
like, that's it. It's
Dot
going back
five.
on the bike. Yeah.
Dot five doesn't do that. That's dot five doesn't corrode. That's why Harley
Yeah.
runs dot five. So they're so concerned about their paint jobs, you know?
Yeah. So I put it back together and I talked to Kentucky Bob, not Vermont Bob, and he
Yeah.
said they went through. But it turns out .5.1 you can mix with other ones. .5 you can't. Well, apparently what I bought was 5.1.
Hmm.
So I'm going to flush it all out again and just put .4 in there and be done with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
just make it easier and just run dot four.
yeah. So I
But
called.
you can't drop stuff off the rafters and
No, you
knock
can't.
things on your paint on your tank. So
So I spent the weekend burning old trim in the backyard of my fire pit
yeah.
and it was burning. And I come out and I had this cloud of smoke throughout the whole neighborhood, just lingering. I'm like, I can't do this. So I stopped burning. The neighbor's going to kill me.
Kentucky.
But
That's normal, right? That's what you guys do.
yeah, that's right. It's Boone County. So who cares?
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. But I talked to Kentucky Bob about it to see what do I flush my system out with. He said, you just flush it out with new fluid from the other stuff. He said, we did the .5 thinking on our trials bikes we had to do it. He said, we
Hmm.
had as much problem with that as we had the other and said, that's it, we're done. So
Yeah.
he said, he just pump new in.
Yeah.
So
That stuff congeals though if that mixes. Like doesn't dot four dot five, it like turns into like a soupy silicone crappy
yeah,
mess. Yeah.
yeah, it looked funny when it was pouring in there. So I got to completely clean it out and see what I can do.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if you could use like just like a brake cleaner, just clean everything out, make sure there is no residual
that's
dot five.
that's what I was thinking, you
Yeah.
know.
That's
I
what
guess I could pull the line loose from the master cylinder top and just kind of blow it through and then start from scratch. But the rust was coming from the reservoir up above. You would pump it and you could see it kind of backflow, and this little dot of rust would come to the surface, you know, brown. And I thought, that's not right.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
I was going to ride it yesterday. And instead of the 850, when I went for my first ride, I think I
Yeah.
broke a record by riding in February, but uh, I saw oil on the stand when I took it off, and I got a little piece of carpet on there to kind of catch stuff. I didn't even see it was dripping oil. It turns out the O-ring in the oil filter was not in there right when I put it up. I've never done that in my life. So I had to drain all the oil out again and here's the O-ring going around there, split and broke about an inch of it off. And
Yeah.
that would have been nice if I would have rode that yesterday instead of the other one. So I redid that last night, and I happened to have one more O-ring and got it in.
Yeah. That's just a standard O-ring. Or is it like,
Yeah, it's,
like, yeah,
it comes with the filter when you get
right,
it.
right. Like the Suzuki's like, it's an O-ring, but it's like, looks like a Mickey Mouse head kind of.
No, it's a true O-ring.
Yeah.
It's the disc underneath, and the whole thing rotates when you're putting the filter on.
Yeah.
And I threw the old O-rings away, which I never do. I'm such a hoarder.
So it's on the bottom of the engine on the 850?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's got a little catch tray that the filter goes in with the bolt going in the middle. I happened to look in the drawer, and I had one left over for another one and got it to work. So,
Oh, good.
but
yeah,
I got a lot of mechanical stuff done in the past week and a half, but everything seemed like no matter what I touched, it was a nightmare that something happened. So it was pretty bad. But
that happens sometimes.
Yeah. So you went on a ride tonight after work?
Yeah, I was working from home where the contractors are here doing the sheetrock for the house for Willa's room. So I was here and worked from home, and then it was like 60 and went out. It was like 30 this morning, so I went out while the ground was frozen because it's mud season. And in Vermont, like as you know, if it goes above freezing and it's right from winter, everything is just a giant mud pit because
And that's normally April, not February, right?
Right. Well, everything's frozen still. Like, and it'll probably freeze back up tonight because I think it's supposed to drop below freezing. But so I was like, oh, it's supposed to be nice. I'm gonna pull the Bonneville out because I haven't ridden the Bonneville since like I think October, September.
Wow.
So I pulled it out, and so I'm this year I'm actually going back and riding that every day. I'm going to try to get that to 200,000 miles.
Oh my gosh.
So that's going to be it's going to be a little YouTube series I'm going to do on Jed's Moto about it. So we're going to call it Chasing 200K. So
and they're going to put you in the Bonneville Hall of Fame when that happens.
Triumph doesn't care. Like I remember when I put 100,000 miles on that bike and I went to the dealership. The dealership was ecstatic. They told Triumph and they're like, "Oh, cool." Like they didn't care. So yeah, because if it was Honda or anyone else, of course they'd be like, "Well, you expect your bike to go 200,000 miles because we designed it that way." But anyways, I pulled it out because it was frozen. The ground was frozen, so I pulled it out. Got it out, wiped it down. It fired right up, which was surprising. And then
fuel injection.
Yeah, fuel injection. So but I didn't know if maybe like I didn't leave it on a battery tender at all winter. So I was like half expecting it to be dead, but it was fine, fired right up. And I then let it warm up a little bit, brought it out, turned it off. Tires were completely flat. Found one of my tire stems, valve stems is dry rotted in the front tire. So, and I need a new front tire. Don't you hate when you do that? Like you pull it, you're like, you think everything's set, and you pull it out, like, crap, I got to buy a tire for this thing. So it's all good. So I got to replace that valve stem and then put it on the trickle charger, went and worked, and then it got nice and went out for a ride.
Wow.
Rode it for like 50 miles.
That's one thing that I failed at is I didn't put anything on trickle chargers this year. And when you think about it, you have basically 2 quad batteries and 2 motorcycle batteries and a lawn tractor. It's like, and I have 3 or 4 trickle chargers. I didn't use any of them.
Yeah, I know.
And the 850 had a lot of trouble trying to start on electric starter. And with my fabulous, right hip, I'm out there kicking this thing. And it just doesn't feel like anything when you kick it. You don't feel compression. You just feel some resistance, and then that starter clutch makes the weird noise. But it doesn't do it with the electric start, but with the kicker it does. And all of a sudden it just starts up. And the battery was just barely turning over when I did it. So that was the other day. And then last night, I put it on a trickle charger again, and it goes up and it says it's ready to go, but it doesn't turn over very many times. So it's also still got last year's gas in it, and I'm trying to get it out of there.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought if it starts, I'll just run it and then, top it off with new stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I put stable in my gas, but like I went for the ride really got after it a little bit. Came back and it was like, it was like misfiring. And I'm
Wow.
like, it's probably bad gas. It just got, you can't let gas sit for that long, especially like freeze thaw, freeze thaw, freeze thaw. Like where it's stored, like it's stored in the shelter logic. You got me.
Yes.
It was sitting,
Going away gift.
huh?
That
Yeah,
was my going away gift.
yeah, yeah. So it works great. The GS and the T120 share that one and just pulled it out. But the thing is like, freeze thaw, freeze thaw. So we get that condensation in the tank and
Yeah.
moisture builds up. I mean, that's just what happens. So yeah,
I did treat my gas, and I treated in the gas can too that I had out there. And I was trying to start a fire the other day, and it wouldn't start with
Yeah,
gas on it. And I went, "Wow, that's
yeah,
stabilized gas. Does that just ruin it too?" I mean, it's only been since November,
yeah.
so
I that happened to me the other day. It was like using the gas and it wasn't firing up like wasn't the other day. It was like midwinter. I think I used it in the snowblower or something. And it wouldn't work. So I drained it out and then I went and lit a fire with it. And it was like diesel. Like it would just like
yeah.
slowly light up. I'm like, this is not gasoline. This is not gasoline anymore.
And I don't know what to do with old gas. You know what I mean? We're nowhere near as green as Vermont, but
Yeah.
I have no idea what to do with it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just put it in my work van and run it, but it's like, am I going to cause more problems? But if I mix it with 20 gallons of gas, is it going to be all right?
Yeah.
So
I
that's what I need to do.
mm-hmm.
I can't find non-ethanol fuel around here anywhere. So
It's
that's what
hard
I
to
like.
find it around here now. They've really put a clamp down on it. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
I'm going to lunch tomorrow in a town that somebody told me they have it. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to put my 5-gallon tank in the truck, and if they have it, I'm going to go get it. But that'll be interesting.
yeah.
Wow. Anything else going on?
Yeah, so I've been looking to the future because I've been going. I guess you could say I have a good case of cabin fever going on. Like today was like, oh, going on that ride was just
So you're getting a trike, you're saying? Is that what you're leading up to?
no,
Oh, okay. You talked about the
no,
future.
no, not that far in the future. Let's fast forwarding. Um, yeah. So I think it's June 20th. I'm coming your way, and then
Right.
I'm going to Indiana, and that's gonna be a fun ride. Bonneville. I'm gonna take the Bonneville on that one.
Are
So
you trailering it here or riding it here?
I'm riding. I'm gonna ride.
Iron butt.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride to you, and then it's only like 2 hours. But apparently, like there's like you are like apparently are only 2 hours away from some phenomenal riding in Indiana. By the way, like
Yeah.
I, like the roads that I was looking at, like some of the great riding that I did when I was there at Indiana last time, which was like now 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's like 2 hours from your house. So
Wow.
I have to share some of
I'm
that.
a I believe in the flat earth. So I feel like 30 miles away from my house, it drops off. So I'm afraid to go
Right.
that far.
You don't go that far away.
30 there and 30 back is the 60-mile loop, and I'm happy,
Right. So, and it's the GS resources. So if you want to go see some old shafties, you can
Yeah.
you could just drive out with me if you want. I'm
Yeah, I
riding.
could
I'm
ride
gonna
my
ride.
old shafty.
Huh?
I could ride my old triple shafty.
Yeah, you could show up if you'd fit right in, you know.
Yeah. Got the gray hair and the shaft drive. I fit right in.
Yep. And then
So
uh
where's it located that you're meeting?
Bedford, Indiana.
That sounds familiar. Wow.
Yep.
I have to Google map that and see.
And then yeah, so I'm gonna go out to that, and then I'll probably iron butt it back because I think it's just about 1,000 miles. So I'll do it in one day, and I'll go back Sunday, ride back home, and then August 15th, 16th, the weekend of my anniversary, right? Because my wife is this awesome. I have a running reservation for that weekend up on the mountain, and
Yeah.
we're doing Jed Stock up there.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'll be hosting Jed Stock, and this goes to anyone that's listening to. If you're interested, email jeds@jedsmoto.com. But
Those
yes,
people that are listening.
yeah, those three people that are tuning in right now.
which is your mom and my brother and
and yeah, my wife maybe, but yeah, it's gonna be cool. So I think the Amen Moto guys are definitely coming this year.
yeah.
So they keep saying they're gonna come, but they're actually gonna come this year, and so it's gonna be the same kind of rigmarole. Friday night, Saturday night, I'll do a barbecue, feed people, hang out, have some music going. Lots of good riding. Probably gonna do a couple giveaways for folks. If you decide to sign up for more than 2 days a night, I'll give you a free T-shirt. And
Oh, I was hoping it was the gold wing. I didn't know what you were giving
no,
away.
I'm not gonna give that away. No. Dirty Bird's not a consolation gift, but I'm gonna have
Yeah.
gifts for like little trophies or something. I'll figure it out. It's a surprise, but for folks that like travel the farthest, put the most miles on the weekend. I think I'm doing the TOMCC $1,000 bike challenge that weekend as well.
Right.
I may not participate in it this year, but I'll host it. So that I think that's happening too. So there's going to be a lot of folks. There's going to be a lot of. I'm hoping a good turnout.
Will you have a number 1 plate when you show up from last year?
What do you mean number
Didn't
one?
you win last year?
Yeah, I got a little.
You're the returning champion. You got to put the number 1 plate on.
It's a little teeny trophy. I got a trophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Wow.
So I was thinking about like doing that. I was like, I was gonna get another bike and do that. I just like I'm all about this season, Johnny. I'm just gonna use my time to ride. Always wrenching, and it's fine. And I'm gonna wrench anyways. Got to put tires on. When you start putting 3,000 to 5,000 miles a month on, you're putting tires on once a month. So like you're always wrenching anyways. So
I'm glad you said that. Not to cut in on your story, but I'm a miser. Everybody knows I'm a miser. So I put new tires on that 650 when I got it because it had old tires that was sitting on it.
Right.
And when I had it on the rack the other day, the date code said 2013 on it. Now, it's been stored in out of the sunlight in warm weather.
Right.
And what is it? I don't know, 6,000 miles, something like that. And there's really not much wear. I'm like, should I change those this year or should I just leave it alone? So you would have been on your 3rd set by now from 2013 or 4th, but
yeah,
it's like when you're looking at your budget for the year, like, what am I going to do?
Right.
I put 200 miles on that bike last year, because I rode the other one. It's like, should I put tires on it or just wait?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's the thing right now, dude. I don't know if you've checked out, but tires are absolutely insane in price.
Really?
Yes. I was looking at I was like, all right, I need a new front tire. That stupid thing is going to cost like $120, like $230 for a front.
Golly, I had no idea.
So I have to rethink this out about what I'm going to do for tire options, because I've always just run Michelin Road 5s, and I guess now on Road 6s or something, but they're expensive, really expensive. And when you put a lot of miles on, you're burning tires off. That's just cha-ching every mile.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're so expensive, because it doesn't seem like car tires got any more expensive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think they have.
No, not as much as you would think. I know trying to find tires for the quad last year, I was kind of blown away. Or my lawn tractor, I was kind of blown away at the prices on that. Like, you got to be kidding me. So.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, surprised me how much they cost compared to, a lawn tractor costs almost as much as a small car tire. I'm like, give me a break.
Yeah. So I run Michelin roads. I've always run roads on the Bonneville, and I'm contemplating not running roads because the front tire right now is $224.71. How about no thank you? And I want, what's the rear? The rear is $271.56.
That's a lot of money.
Holy smoke. Dude, that's expensive, because on a bit when I'm doing like 40,000 mile season, I put 2 fronts on minimum, and I'm putting on at least, I don't know, 6 or 7 rears.
Yep.
So dude, that's $2,100 in tires. I gotta find another solution, and I might have
Right.
to. I might have to go dark side.
Well, when Craig built this 250, he re-spoked the back and put different rims on them and stuff,
Yep.
and he's got brand new tires on it. I would have probably put some adventure tires on rather than street bike tires, but it was before scramblers and trackers were actually popular when he did it. And I
Yep.
was thinking the other day, they're brand new, they never been on the road, you know, is it going to be okay? They've been sitting there that long. I didn't even check the date code on it to see where it is. They're Continentals he's got on this.
Yeah.
He put nice tires on it.
He didn't really. He spared no expense with his builds.
No, what's funny is I met him. Let's see, I met you in 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we talked about the other day,
That seems right.
and I had the silver Ghost uh, 750, and then I got this a couple years later. So 2013 was when I met him. So that was 10 years ago, and this bike was in this state when I met him, and I think it was underneath his cloth blanket he had to keep the dust off of it,
Yeah.
probably 5 or 6 years. So let's just say 2009 or something like that. So he designed all this thing with all the custom stuff that he wanted to do. And then I've had it and putting it off, trying to finish it. And I look and he's got some kind of custom intake manifold from this thing that he built from the air cleaner. I looked at the other day, it's all dry rotted and cracked and it's brand new.
Oh
I'm like,
man.
great. Now I got to figure out what he got this off of when he made it. And I thought, this poor thing needs to just be ridden,
Mm-hmm.
rubber parts cracking and everything else on it. But
Right. That's the thing with them,
that
man.
would
If
kill
you
me.
don't run them, they just rot. It's just how it is like
Yeah.
same with cars, but most bikes, like they just want to be ridden. I was thinking about that today when I was looking at the Bonneville, and I found that dry rotted valve stem, which I replaced at the last time I did the tire, which was a few years ago, because I haven't really. I put 100,000 miles on the Bonneville, and then I just stopped riding the Bonneville for a couple of years because
Right.
will it happen? My daughter happened. So,
Right.
but it's just like I was thinking, it was like it's crazy, like there's like some surface rust showing up on spots, and I'm just like, it needs to be ridden. I guess that's what it needs to happen. It's just I just need to ride the dang thing.
Well, I keep telling you, when she graduates from high school, you can get back into that. So,
Yeah, I know, right? Right, right. Well, we'll see how like I said, I'm trying to see how many miles I can get back into this season coming up. I've got some plans of running to work early and getting out of work early so I can get the car to get her, and trying different techniques, because I really want to get 200,000 miles on that Bonneville. I want to see the
yeah.
200,000 mile mark, just because I know I can do it as long as it does blow up.
Right. I haven't had a chance to watch your turbo videos. How's that coming along?
It's fun. It's good. It's right now. So if folks are watching that, it's going to be, I'm airing one section per Sunday. And I think it's up to March 24th. That's the last episode, or one of the last episodes. It's probably going to get into April, but it's good. I got it running. I drove it. It's over boosting. So I've got to play with it's cheap Chinese turbo. So like the wastegate on it says 5 pounds, but it's not. It's doesn't actually start working until like 7 pounds. So I've got to change that. But do some fueling. It's cool because it's like as soon as it comes into boost, like the car, it has so much more power, although it's so tiny, it's like, oh wow, it feels like a Honda Civic now instead of like a Geo Metro. It's not fast. Like it's you do these mods and it's not fast.
Yeah.
So
I got to slow down. I seem like I'm over boosting here lately, so I'm trying to slow down
yeah,
too. So.
right.
Oh my gosh.
So what else is going on for project wise?
Well, I'm trying to get this started. Uh, Ryan sent me, I sent him and Morgan a picture of it on the stand. I said, it's happening. And he sent me a meme or a GIF from The Office with Michael screaming, "It's happening! It's happening!"
Yeah.
But I don't know. This was Craig's project, and he had a vision, and he passed away a couple of years ago. But I feel obligated to finish what he started, and then you finally just go, "It's my bike. I can do what I want," and
Right.
it's just hard to switch away from that. But I don't know. It's still going to be hard to cut frames or do anything like that. But I'm
Yeah.
wanting to change the seat profile or make a fiberglass seat base myself. And
Is that what that tape's for? Us to kind of trying to figure the line of the bike or how you want the bike to go?
yeah, this one actually had the little short seat and the cap in the back, the corny looking thing on the SR 250 they had.
Yeah.
And so I never did have the case in the back, but I had the short seat, and I thought, well, I'm never going to use that. And I think Steve Case gave me that seat because he had one he was parting out, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There was another one I bought for parts, but I thought he gave me that seat so that I could maybe use the base and it's plastic and cut it up and do whatever I want with it. So
Yeah.
I may do that. And I'm raising up the gas tank in the back so it's more straight line
Great.
rather than
Yep.
the teardrop
Yep.
cruiser look.
So you're kind of gonna pitch it like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's what is it? Jadus, Jadus is over in Europe somewhere, and they're well known for all these bolt-on modifications you can do without welding anything. They got a seat hoop, they raise the gas tank, they do all kinds of stuff.
Interesting.
The average guy can do it without welding, but the prices are outrageous and the shipping's outrageous. So,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Craig had a custom exhaust built for it that I don't really like, so I'm trying to modify that, put a
It's
different muffler on
ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense.
No.
No
I
offense.
felt like he put extra so he could cut it the way he wanted, but I put it together the way he had it designed, and I'm like, no, I can't ride that. So
Yeah.
he had this theory that the longer pipe you have on these smaller bikes, the more torque you'll have with it, and I couldn't figure that out. So
What? It doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
it's something about the torque was better, and I'm thinking, what could the torque be on a 250 anyway? They have
11 foot-pounds.
yeah, a limited power. It's a wonder they'll do 65 mile an hour when you get done. So
Right, right. And that's the thing with the 250s that's kind of frustrating. It's like you go and chase horsepower and what would usually yield 5, 10, 15 horse yields like 3. And it's
right,
not
right.
very noticeable.
So it'll be a good bike to maybe get the younger ones to the teenagers and Morgan to learn how to ride, and it's
Yeah.
not something big. And I don't have to cringe if they're riding one of my other bikes and crash.
Mm-hmm.
One's fast and one's heavy, so this one ought to be nice.
So you're gonna probably make it a little. You're gonna make it somewhat comfortable then, or is it like that's kind of the
Well,
plan?
more of a scrambler,
Right.
but I was going to
Okay.
take the pitch out of the seat, make it look, like a standard seat. Try
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
It's just hard to make that first cut. Not that
Okay.
I'm trying to protect it. It's like there's always that point of no return. So,
Right. Oh yeah, I understand.
and I haven't even heard it run. So Craig said that he rebuilt it, put new rings in it, did a bunch of work on it, started it, shut it off, and then started working on the frame and everything else. So he claims it ran. So
When was the last
ran
time?
when parked.
Have you ever ran it?
No.
Jesus. Yeah, that's a long time, John.
Yeah, it is. He's got this little tiny lithium battery, whatever, that's like 3 inches square by 3 inches tall.
Yeah.
That
I remember.
holds a charge. It's still sitting there on the bench. I use it for my test battery for stuff on the bench all the time, but he claims he took the battery and it turned whatever bigger bike that he had that he put it on. He said started it up. So I wanted to get the XT 250 Kickstarter kit for it because it's the same motor.
Yeah.
And then you can have a kickstart on it. And I thought that makes more sense rather than relying on this little tiny battery to electric start it.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I remember the phase of the little lithium tiny batteries, and that phase is gone. I don't think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem with them is they offer the initial kick, but there's no reserve. So if you lose the charging system, your bike is dead in like 3 minutes.
Right.
So, and it's not like a slow charge. It's just like they turn off. That's just how lithiums work because they have like the microchips in them so that they don't overcharge or undercharge. So once the voltage hits a certain point, the battery just turns off and you're dead in the water. So, I mean, yeah, like I don't know what your build is, but you
I
could
don't
put
either.
a
That's my
scooter
problem.
battery in there. It'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, he's got a little bracket welded up with a rubber strap on it made just for that battery and
Yep.
hid everything. He took the blinkers off of it, which, you know, I can't ride a bike without turn signals. I'm too much of a control freak. So
Right.
I got to see if the wiring's there. So I got to see if I can get that hooked up. He took the ignition off of it and was going to make like a hidden on off switch, hidden that nobody knew about and not have a key on it. And when I got the other bike I bought for parts, I got the ignition off of it. So I may just try and hide that somewhere.
Yep.
But I think he bought a Virago speedometer, brand new from Yamaha, because he worked at a Yamaha dealership. So it's got 0 miles on it. That's going to be interesting when I transfer it from Vermont to Kentucky and they go, "Where's your miles?" you know?
Right.
Well, it's brand new. No, it's not. It's an 81. Well, technically it is. And I think I have the old speedometer that says 10,000 miles on it. So I may just bring it and say, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Here it is. It doesn't work or something. I think there's a
Yeah.
way, I don't know, with the titles and stuff, you can say like odometer is like exceeded its working capacity or whatever, and you have to sign it and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old bike. I'm sure they won't give you too much of a hard time, especially that it's small displacement too. I don't think they'll give you too much of a hard time.
And the Vermont law is 250 cc's and down.
300.
Oh, good. So I was going to try and use that as my excuse that,
It's 300.
So hopefully I can transfer it over.
Yeah.
I registered in Vermont before I moved and did that on purpose.
They're pushing a legislation through right now. So so now everything needs a title to get registered. Like there was that new law. So yeah, there was like a bunch of people. I don't know if it was class action or what, but a lot of folks basically sued the state because a lot of folks never had titles. And they have all these vehicles that are, pre 2009, that are 15 years, and older, and we never needed titles before, and we bought these vehicles, and now we can't register them, and we can't sell them, and so they're making an amendment again. They're going to say anything before 2009, you're okay, don't need a title. So to where we were. But now, moving forward, 2009 and on, you'll need a title for your vehicle, and continuing on. So it'll be 2050. I will need a title from a 2035. But
so when you go to renew your tags, is that when they go, you need a title, or only when you sell it?
So they did away with tags. So you don't have tags now. They want you to peel them off if you want to. I'm not gonna screw that. So I'm just gonna leave them on there. State. But they're go ahead.
No, what do you mean? The sticker?
The sticker. Yeah. Oh, so the license plates, yeah. So the license plate is what you're referring to, the tags. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you go in with a 2010 that you've had for a long time with no title.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to renew your tags, do they say, "Oh, you need a title now"?
They will give you one.
Okay. I thought maybe they were complaining like everybody's got to pay this $50 title fee or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was definitely another thing there. Now we're issued them. The state will issue them. They have brand new title printing machines in every DMV, and they will print a title for you, brandy new. Wow. And I can request title now for all my vehicles that were registered before. Like so my 81 GS, I can request title. That GS now, that $400 GS 550, I traded for that, and now I have this 1000 G, probably worth $3,000.
And I'd go 600. So you made 50. So.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, 600. Okay. But that's the thing. It's like we can get titles for our vehicles, but yeah, they're making an amendment. So if you get a vehicle because there's the problem. It's like you're buying cars or motorcycles or whatever from people that are passed away.
Yeah.
I know a couple guys that have vehicles that acquired them to sell, like, because that's kind of what, you do sometimes. Like you and I do it. We buy vehicles for cheap and we sell them for a little less cheap, still offer a good deal, but like make a little extra money on the side. Yeah. So the state kind of recognized that they made a boo-boo there, and they're allowing folks to register vehicles on pre-2009 without title still, which is good because
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it was great living there, and just, grandma gives you a signed bill of sale, sign something and you go get it registered. And here, no matter what you have, the title's got to be notarized out of the seller's name into your name. And you got to do this, got to get a sheriff inspection, just all this stuff. And when I moved here, I thought, well, I guess my flipping days are over, but because I don't even know what a notary, I keep telling my daughter, you need to become a notary and be making some extra money and doing some late weekend night notarized, signatures so that people can buy and sell stuff. To say, I will buy your bike, but you got to meet me at the courthouse at a certain time so we can both go in and sign at the same time. It's like, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I remember one time, John, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like an old Suzuki or something I had. Oh, it was great. So I went to the DMV. I had I'm not kidding you. I had I don't have a blank piece of paper, but it was like this handwritten bill of sale on plain paper. Going to the DMV, the guy's like, "What's the guy's address?" And he forgot to sign it. And I'm like, he lived in Castleton. He's like, okay, here, write Castleton and sign it. So I wrote Castleton, signed it, gave it to the DMV, and the guy's like, okay, good. Here's your license plate. Title inspection's due in 15 days. Make sure it's insured. Have a good day. Thank you. I mean, that's how it was back in even like in like the 2010s, when United started hanging out, like it was super easy to get anything registered. Now it's just like a bear.
Well, that's the same state that allow you to vote by just saying, "Hey, I'm Justin. I'm here." Okay, click right here. We're in Kentucky. Right. It's like you got to show license and do a blood sample and have a backup. And
right, that's right.
Which I agree with, but I'm just saying it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah. You just go and say your name and take a ballot and put it in the box.
I state your name.
Right. Yeah, but who's working the ballot box usually, so.
That's right. When I moved down here, one of my clients worked at the village office there in Essex. She called me up or sent me an email about a month after I left. She said, "Did you move completely?" Yeah. And she goes, "Okay, I need to take your name off the voter registration." And I'm like, wow, that's efficient. What would you have done if I didn't know you,
Right.
So.
Right. That's so funny.
I don't know. I thought I was going to get 2 votes in, but I guess it didn't work that way.
No,
so.
You can come vote for whoever you want in Vermont right now.
That's right. Man, oh man. Wow. I don't know if I got anything else. I keep calling him Kentucky Bob. I didn't want to say Bob and they think it's Bob Vermont, but the 650 has really bad fork sag. And he was explaining to me that we need to cut the fork springs down and put spacers in and bring that back up or whatever. And he was trying to explain it to me, and it was really interesting. So before I go out and spend $150 on progressive springs, that I don't know if it's going to work or not, but you're riding, you feel like you look down, you feel like you got 3 inches of travel on this thing,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, my 1000 did that, and I just bought some washers and just preloaded it and works fine.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the Bob Hudson, who passed away. He was the Bob I knew. He worked on my GS 750, my first 715, taught me a lot. He showed me that trick. He's like, these things, he's like, see how soft it is? I'm like, yeah. He's like, here, you open up the fork tube and just put in like four washers. And it made the bike handle a lot better, and it didn't sag. So I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know you could do that. He's like, yeah, you can. Saves you money. Instead of buying.
Bob is a suspension guru. with the modern bikes with, we just changed the fluid and you got a damper rod and you're done. Well, in the modern bikes, you've got shims and valves and seals, and you got to be able to change different things in them. And he does that. He's like a mad scientist with it. And so he was trying to explain to me that you cut the spring, you heat it, you bend it, you put a spacer the same dimension of what the spring you took out, and it makes it stiffer and fills it. I thought, oh, okay. So, and they're trials riders, so they know a lot,
that makes sense,
for preloading and going over trees and different things they got to do. So
you could bind the spring if you, that makes sense, because if you just put the washers in like I do, you can bind the spring, like have it can be completely compressed, and then your shocks aren't going anywhere. So
instead of having 6 inches of travel, you now have 5.5 because you've put spacers in or whatever. So I guess if you take it away and add, then you don't lose your travel.
Right.
And you know how hard I dive into those corners on that 650.
I know, man. You really do. You got to invest in some knee pads, because you're just
drag, protect that gas tank so it doesn't drag when I come around the turn.
Come on, you got to protect that gas tank from brake fluid. That's what you got to protect it from.
That's right. My gosh, that's crazy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna I say let's wrap it up, and thanks for tuning in, folks. If you like what you see or hear, like and subscribe. Follow us on favorite podcast service or on YouTube at Jed's Moto. So yeah, that's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in, and keep it shiny side up out there.
See you the next time.